In this video, I am going to discuss geomorphology if-then type of questions series of 200 MCQ question series. This is the part 1 video which includes 1 to 50 questions of the if-then geomorphology, basically fluvial geomorphology question series. So let's start. The first question category is river channel morphology and sediment transport. The first question is, if a river sediment load increases significantly, then the river is likely to deepen its channel, develop a braided pattern, reduce its velocity, become a straight river. Here the right answer will be develop a braided pattern, because more the sediment load, the more energy will be required to transport that load, and if suddenly increases means the energy to transport the load is same but sediment is increases. So what happened, the sediment will be deposited due to lack of energy to transport. So if the sediment is deposited, then it will create a braided pattern. Question 2. If a river enters a wide, low-energy environment like a lake or sea, then erosion increases, sediment deposition occurs, the river velocity increases, the river straightens. Here the right answer will be sediment deposition occurs. Because at the low-energy environment, there the transport energy is less or low. So, less the energy, more will be the deposition. Question 3. If the river bed is composed of coarse sediments, then the river is likely to flow at a very slow speed, have a steep gradient, be highly meandering, have a delta at its mouth. Here the right answer will be have a steep gradient. Means the steep gradient means the energy is more. If the energy is more, then the transport capacity will be more. And if the bed is composed of coarse sediments, means finer sediments are transported, so the coarse sediments is present at the bed, so it shows the steep gradient or more velocity, or we can say that energy is more. So all sediments are transported, only coarse sediments are presented, means the critical shear velocity is more. Question 4. If river discharge suddenly increases due to heavy rainfall, then the riverbed will become drier, the river's competence to carry sediment will increase, the river will stop eroding, sediment transport will decrease. Here the right answer will be river's competence to carry sediment will increase. Means the more the water, more the discharge, and more will be the velocity of flow, then more will be the sediment transport capacity. Question 5. If a river experiences a decrease in sediment supply, then it is likely to start depositing more sediments inside and erode its channel, develop a braided pattern, increase its meandering. Here the right answer will be inside and erode its channel. Less its sediment, decrease or less in sediment supply, then only water will flow. If only water will flow, then the energy to transport sediment is not used. If the energy is unused, then that energy will incise or erode its channel, that energy will be working, it will not, that the energy will be lost. So more the energy, more will be the erosion. Now the category river dynamics and flooding. If a river's floodplain is urbanized, then flood intensity is likely to increase due to reduced infiltration, stay the same, reduced sediment supply. Hence the right answer will be increase due to reduced infiltration. Because what happened? In the urbanized area means that the concretization of the surface, more the concretization, less will be infiltration, and at the same time more will be the runoff, and more will be the surface runoff, more will be the chance of rivers flooding. So the right answer will be increase due to reduced infiltration, and we can say that at reduced infiltration and increasing surface runoff. If a river's base level is lowered due to sea level fall, then the river will deposit more sediment, the river will incise its valley, the river will stop meandering, the river will widen its channel. Here the right answer will be the river will incise its valley, because base level is lowered, then the gradient will be increased, means the slope will be increased. If the slope will increase, then the energy will be increased. If the energy will increased, then the incise will incise or erode its bed. Question 8. If a dam is built across a river, then the sediment load downstream will increase, decrease, remain unchanged, double? Of course decrease, because if a dam is built, then what happened? Sediment will be trapped upstream of the dam. So in the downstream there will be a decrease in the sediment, and then hungry water effect can be seen. What is hungry water effect? Because the sediment is trapped, so in the downstream of dam there is less sediment but water, more or unchanged water. If the sediment transport capacity of that place is same, then what happened? More the increase, but no not the sediment. So it will erode the lateral and incise its beds. So that is called as hungry water effect by Condolph, the renowned geomorphologist of USA. Question 9. If vegetation cover along river banks is removed, then bank erosion will increase, channel stability will improve, the river will stop meandering, water quality will improve. And the right answer will be bank erosion will increase. But it not only depends only the river bank vegetation, but there are so many features. The bank height is one of the more important feature of river bank erosion. Question 10. If a river is heavily polluted with industrial waste, then dissolved oxygen levels will decrease, biodiversity will increase, water temperature will decrease, sediment load will completely stop. Here the right answer will be dissolved oxygen levels will decrease. Means the oxygen within the water will decrease due to heavily polluted industrial waste. River engineering and human modifications. Question number 11. If a river is artificially straightened, then it will likely have reduced flood risk downstream, increased flow velocity, become more meandering over time, reduce erosion. The right answer will be increase flow velocity. Means that if river is artificially straightened, means the river becomes channelized into a straight pattern. Then channel pattern becomes straight, then what happened? Increase the flow velocity. Question 12. If groinage, riverbank structures are placed in a river, then bank erosion will increase, sediment deposition will occur on one side, the river will become braided, flood intensity will decrease. Here the right answer will be sediment deposition will occur on one side. Question 13. If a levee is built along a river, then flood waters will be completely prevented, be directed to other areas, decrease sediment transport, stop flowing, be directed to other areas. Question number 14. If a floodplain is artificially confined by embankments, then the flood water storage capacity will decrease, the river will become more natural, sediment transport will stop, channel meandering will increase. Here the right answer will be flood water storage capacity will decrease. Question 15. If groundwater extraction near a river increases, then river discharge will increase, decrease due to reduced base flow, stay constant, cause the river to become a braided system. The right answer will be decrease due to reduced base flow. If the groundwater extraction near a river increases, then river discharge will decrease due to reduced base flow. And sometimes what happened, the river water flows towards its site area because of the hydraulic suction due to the groundwater extraction near the river. Category climate change and river systems. Question number 16. If global temperatures continue to rise, then river discharge will remain constant. Glacier fed rivers will experience higher seasonal flows. Sea levels will remain unchanged. Erosion rates will decrease. Of course, glacial fed rivers will experience higher seasonal flow due to melting of the glacier. Question number 17. If monsoon intensity increases, then river systems in South Asia will experience more frequent and severe flooding, have lower discharge, stop eroding their banks, become less sediment rich. The right answer will be, of course, experience more frequent and severe flooding. Question number 18. If a river delta is deprived of sediment due to upstream dams, then the delta will expand, coastal erosion will increase, the river will develop a new channel, flood risk in the delta will decrease. Of course, the coastal erosion will be increased because of the less of the sediment to transport. The waters become hungry. Question number 19. If permafrost in Arctic regions melts due to climate change, then river systems will carry more sediment and nutrients, experience less seasonal flow variation, reduce their meandering tendency, stop flowing in winter. Here the right answer will be carry more sediment and nutrients. Question 20. If hurricanes and typhoons become stronger due to climate change, then river estuaries will face greater storm surges. The river systems will become drier, sediment transport will decrease, rivers will stop flooding. And the right answer will be river estuaries will face greater storm surges. River erosion and deposition category. If the velocity of a river decreases suddenly, then the sediment transport will increase, remain constant, decrease, and lead to deposition, lead to greater erosion. Here the right answer will be decrease and lead to deposition means velocity decrease means energy becomes less energy, more deposition. Question 22. If a river cuts its soft sedimentary rock, then waterfalls are likely to form, the channel will become straighter, the river will stop eroding, bank stability will increase. Waterfalls are likely to form if this is in mountainous or plateau area, not in the plain area. Question 23. If the riverbed is armored with large boulders, then sediment transport will increase, decrease, stay constant, cause river meandering. Hereof the right answer will be decrease, because armored with large boulders means to transport that sediment more energy will be required, and if that much energy or critical shear velocity is not present, then it will decrease. And at the same time the energy will be used to used or contacted with the boulders, where the boulders works as a barrier. Question 24. If river's velocity exceeds the critical threshold for sediment transport, then deposition will occur, the river will erode its bed and banks, the river will stop carrying sediment, floodplains will dry up. If river's velocity exceeds its critical threshold, its critical threshold means more than the critical threshold, so erosion will be more in the bed and banks. If the river velocity not exceeds its critical threshold, then only transport will be occurred, no erosion, no deposition will be occurred. And if less velocity than the critical threshold, then it will be deposited. Question 25. If a river's load consists mostly of suspended fine particles, then the river is likely a bed load dominated system. A river transports most sediment as traction load. The water may appear muddy or turbid. The river velocity must be very low. Here the right answer will be the water may appear muddy or turbid. River morphology and channel changes. If a river channel is highly sinuous, then it is classified as braided river. It has a high degree of meandering. It has low erosion potential. It is flowing at a high gradient. Here the right answer will be it has a high degree of meandering. Question 27. If a river experiences a lateral erosion, means bank erosion, then its width will remain the same. It will deepen but not widen. It will meander more over time, and its flow velocity will drop to zero. Here the right answer will be it will meander more, or because of the more lateral erosion or bank erosion, and over time. Question 28. If a river channel narrows due to artificial embankments, then flow velocity will increase, flood risk will decrease, as erosion will stop, river discharge will decrease. So the right answer will be flow velocity will increase, because the river is becoming narrow but water is same. So for that much of water to transport, it has to increase the speed of the river or the flow velocity. Okay, and such kind of features occurred in full full section of the river, not in the refill section. Refill means the wider channel, pool means the less wider. Question 29. If a river is highly dynamic and migrates frequently, then if a river is highly dynamic and migrates frequently, then it is likely controlled by a tectonic fault. It is experiencing strong lateral erosion. It will stop eroding. Its sediment load is very low. The right answer will be it is experiencing strong lateral erosion. So more the lateral erosion, more will be the migration of river. Question 30. If a river becomes overloaded with sediment, then it will likely incise and deepen, form a braided pattern, flow at a slower velocity, have reduced sediment transport capacity. The right answer will be form a braided pattern due to high deposition of sediment, because overloaded with sediment. Category: human modifications and river management. If a dam is built upstream, then downstream sediment load will increase, decrease, remain constant, stop completely. Of course, decrease due to trap of sediment in the upstream area of the dam. Question 32. If excessive sand mining occurs in a river, then the river bed will become stable, and the water table will rise, bank erosion will increase, the river will deepen but not erode. Here the right answer will be the river erosion will increase. Question 33. If a river's natural floodplain is converted into urban land, then flood risk will decrease, groundwater storage will increase, runoff will increase, leading to higher flood risk, sediment deposition will increase. Of course, the runoff will increase due to less infiltration due to cemented surface of the urban area, leading to high flood risk. Question 34. If groinage, riverbank structures are installed, then erosion along the banks will increase, sediment deposition will occur behind the groinage, the river will deepen uniformly, the river discharge will increase significantly. Here the right answer will be sediment deposition will occur behind the groinage. Question 35. If channelization, straightening of the river is done, then flow velocity will increase, flood risk will decrease, river meandering will increase, sediment deposition will increase. The right answer will be, of course, the flow velocity will increase. Climate change and river systems. Question 36. If glacier-fed rivers experience warmer temperature, then they will receive less water, their seasonal discharge will increase, river flow will decrease permanently, sediment transport will decrease. So the right answer will be their seasonal discharge, which will increase due to melting of ice. Question 37. If deforestation occurs in a river basin, then sediment yield will decrease due to less organic matter, increase due to higher surface erosion, stay the same, the unaffected by vegetation loss. Here the right answer will be increase due to higher surface erosion, because less the vegetation, more water or rainfall erosion will occur. Question 38. If rainfall intensity increases in a catchment area, then river discharge will decrease, increase, stay the same, be controlled by only by groundwater. Of course, increase due to rainfall intensity increase, because more the intensity, less will be the infiltration, more will be the surface runoff. Question 39. If sea level rises due to climate change, then river deltas will expand due to higher water levels, shrink due to increased coastal erosion, experience increased sediment deposition, remain unchanged. Here the right answer will be shrink due to increased coastal erosion. If sea level rises due to climate change, then river deltas will sink due to increased coastal erosion or coastal flooding. Question 40. If a permafrost or coastal water level increase. Question 40. If a permafrost region experiences melting due to climate change, then river flow will decrease, river flow will increase due to melting ice. The river will stop flowing, the river will develop a new meander. The right answer will be, of course, river flow will increase due to melting of ice in the permafrost region. Question category sediment transport and deposition. Question 41. If river discharge increases significantly after heavy rainfall, the sediment transport will decrease, remain constant, increase due to high flow velocity, stop completely. The right answer will be, of course, increase due to higher flow velocity. Question 42. If a river enters a lake or a ocean, then sediment deposition will decrease, increase due to reduced flow velocity, remain constant, only occur during floods. Of course, the right answer will be increase due to reduced flow velocity, because when it enters to the ocean or lake, the energy of transport sediment will be decreased. More the decrease of energy, more will be the deposition. Question 43. If a river has a high bedload transport, then it is likely to be a meandering river, braided river, tidal river, straight river. Here the right answer will be straight river. Here it is wrong, braided river. High bedload transport energy. If the bedload is transported, then why the river will be braided? Braided river occurs when the river deposition is more, then bedload braided river occurred. So at the foothill of any mountain area, the deposition increased due to suddenly the gradient become low, so transport energy become less, so braided river occurred. But here it will be, the right answer will be the straight river. Question 44. If a river's energy is insufficient to transport its sediment load, then deposition will occur. The river will incite its channel, the river will meander more, bank erosion will increase. The right answer will be deposition will occur. Question 45. If a river's suspended sediment concentration is high, then water clarity will increase, decrease, remain unchanged, be unaffected by sediment. Of course, decrease, because more the suspended sediment concentration, less will be the clarity. Fluvial process and channel dynamics. Question 46. If rivers meander experience excessive erosion, then they will straighten over time, they will continue to migrate laterally, river velocity will decrease, sediment transport will stop. The right answer will be they will continue to migrate laterally. Question 47. If a cutoff forms in a meandering river, then a new oxbow lake may develop. A river will become braided, the river will stop flowing, the floodplain will become steeper. Here the right answer will be a new oxbow lake may develop. Question 48. If a river flows over resistant bedrock, then channel erosion will be slow, be rapid, stop completely, lead to increased sediment transport. Here the right answer will be slow. because of the resistance of bedrock. 49. If a river gradient decreases downstream, then the flow velocity will increase, sediment deposition is more likely, erosion rates will increase, the river will become straighter. Here the right answer will be sediment deposition is more likely. Because of the decreasing gradient downstream, more the decreasing gradient, less will be the energy, more will be the deposition. Question number 50, last question of this video. If a river is influenced by tides, then it will only transport sediment upstream, it will exhibit bidirectional flow, it will have no sediment transport, it will have high discharge variability. It will exhibit bidirectional flow, means one direction is river towards ocean and one direction will be ocean towards river. At the high tide there will be ocean towards the river, and at the time of low tide or ebb tide the direction will be river towards the ocean. 200 MCQ series of geomorphology with if then questions. This will be the if then question video of geomorphology, specifically fluvial geomorphology. Category river engineering and human interventions. Questions 51. If a levee is constructed along a river, then flood risk inside the levee will decrease. The river will widen naturally. Erosion rates will decrease downstream. The floodplain will receive more sediment. Here the right answer will be flood risk inside the levee will decrease. Question 52. If a dam is removed from a river, then downstream sediment transport will increase, decrease, remain unchanged, cease entirely. Here the right answer will be increase, because dam can store large amount of sediment upstream of the dam due to barrier. Water can move beyond the dam, but exactly all sediments can't move beyond the dam. Only some suspended sediments which are not deposited into the bed of the reservoir that can be transported downstream of the dam. But if dam is removed, then the river sediment transport will increase. If excessive groundwater extraction occurs near a river, then the river's base flow may decrease, river discharge will increase, the river will deepen naturally, the river's sediment load will disappear. Here the right answer will be river's base flow may decrease. Question 54. If a river is artificially straightened, means channelized, then flow velocity will increase, river meandering will intensify, bank erosion will decrease, flood risk will decrease. Here the right answer will be flow velocity will increase because of the straightening of the channel or the channelization process. Question 55. If a river is artificially dredged, then flood risk may temporarily decrease, sediment transport will stop, the river will deepen permanently, bank erosion will decrease. Here the right answer will be flood risk may temporarily decrease. Ecological and climate change impacts category. Question number 56. If riparian vegetation is removed, then bank erosion will increase, the river will become more stable, sediment transport will stop, the floodplain will expand. Here the right answer will be bank erosion will increase. Question 57. If a river's floodplain is converted to farmland, then natural flood storage capacity will decrease, sediment deposition will increase, river meandering will stop, flood risk will decrease. So the right answer will be natural flood storage capacity will decrease. Question 58. If permafrost in Arctic rivers melts due to climate change, then river flow will increase seasonally, erosion rates will decrease, the river will dry up permanently, floodplains will disappear. Here the right answer will be river flow will increase seasonally. If permafrost in Arctic rivers melts due to climate change, then river flow will increase seasonally, erosion rates will decrease, the river will dry up permanently, floodplains will disappear. Here the right answer will be river flow will increase seasonally. Question 59. If an urban area expands into a river basin, then runoff will increase due to impermeable surfaces, groundwater recharge will improve, river erosion will stop, flood risk will decrease. Here the right answer will be runoff will increase due to impermeable or cemented surface. Question number 60. If mangroves and wetlands near river mouths are lost, then coastal erosion will increase, river discharge will increase, tidal influence will disappear, sediment transport will decrease. Here the right answer will be coastal erosion will increase. Sediment dynamics and transport. 61. If a river experiences a decrease in discharge, then its sediment transport capacity will increase, decrease, remain unchanged, become more efficient. The right answer will be decrease. Question 62. If a river channel widens without an increase in flow, then sediment deposition will increase, decrease, stop, be redirected upstream. The right answer will be increase. Question 63. If sediment supply to a river increases due to deforestation, then the river may become shallower, the river will transport less sediment, the river will stop meandering, the floodplain will disappear. The right answer will be the river may become shallower. Due to sediment deposition. Question 64. If a river carries more fine-grained sediments than coarse materials, then it is classified as bed load dominated river, suspended load dominated river, braided river, straight river. Here the right answer will be suspended load dominated river, because the finer grain size are basically suspended loads. Question 65. If a delta is deprived of sediment due to upstream dams, then the delta will shrink, the delta will expand, flooding will be reduced, new sediment bars will form. Here the right answer will be the delta will shrink. River stability and channel changes. Question 66. If a river valley experiences tectonic uplift, then river incision will increase, decrease, remain stable, case entirely, cease entirely. Here the right answer will be increase, because of the more MGH means potential energy. Base level will be changed, and if base level will be changed, then potential energy MGH means height, M means mass, G means gravity, H means height. This MGH will be increased. So erosion or river incision means bed erosion will be increased. And then you can see neck points. Question 67. If river banks are composed of clay-rich materials, then erosion rates will typically be low due to cohesion, be high due to weak material, be unaffected by flood events, increase with vegetation removal. Here the right answer will be low due to cohesion. Cohesion of what? Cohesion of clay material, because clay materials are sticky, and that clay materials are joined with each other very strongly. So the energy to transport or to erode those clay material those clay material is more needed, but transportation of that clay material is energy required is less, but to erode that clay material it will be difficult. Only If the solution process means chemical reaction and can solute the clay material, but abrasion, attrition, and hydraulic action cannot be useful or cannot be impactful for clay material erosion. Question 68. If a river has a steep gradient, then it is likely to transport large boulders, have slow moving waters, develop oxbow lakes, have a fine grained sediment load. Here the right answer will be transport large boulders, because if the river becomes steep gradient means slope is more, and slope is more means higher mgh, means potential energy. More potential energy, more transport capacity, and more transport capacity, a more transport of the large grains, means boulders, etc. Question 69. If a river floodplain is frequently inundated, then sediment deposition will increase, decrease, stop completely, lead to river incision. Of course, it will be increase. 70. If channel migration is blocked by infrastructure, roads, embankments, then flood risk upstream may increase. The river will naturally meander more, bank erosion will decrease, river discharge will become constant. Here the right answer will be flood risk upstream may increase due to water or flow sometimes become choked. If the flow can't pass with the river, then what happened? Flood may came. River engineering and human modifications. If a river is diverted for irrigation, then its downstream flow will decrease, increase, remain unchanged, be unaffected by seasonal variation. Of course, it will be decreased. Question 72. If a river is dammed, then sediment accumulation behind the dam will increase, decrease, remain constant, be washed downstream. The right answer will be increase. Accumulation means deposition will increase. Means downstream of the dam there will be sediment accumulation, means sediment deposition decrease, and upstream of the dam sediment accumulation or sediment deposition increase. 73. If a river is channelized for flood control, then its flow velocity will likely increase, decrease, remain stable, reverse direction, not reverse direction but increase. Question 74. If an embankment is removed from a floodplain, then natural flooding will return, sediment transport will stop, river discharge will become erratic, river depth will permanently increase. The right answer will be natural flooding will return to the floodplain area. Question 75. If dredging is performed repeatedly on a riverbed or mining, then the river may inch deeper, sediment supply will increase, channel migration will stop, the floodplain will expand. Here the right answer will be the river may inch deeper. Ecological and climate change impacts. 76. If climate change leads to higher rainfall variability, then river discharge will become more unpredictable, stabilize due to groundwater discharge, decrease permanently, be unaffected by precipitation changes. So the right answer will be become more unpredictable. Question number 77. If wetland restoration occurs in a floodplain, then floodwater retention capacity will increase, decrease, have no effect on flooding, cause immediate erosion. Here the right answer will be increase, means the flood water retention capacity will be increased. Question 78. If an invasive plant species spreads along a river bank, then the river's bank stability may increase or decrease depending on root structure, be unaffected, improve uniformly, lead to complete channel abandonment. The right answer will be increase or decrease depending on root structure. Question 79. If groundwater extraction continues near a river, then base flow during dry periods will decrease, increase, remain stable, have no impact on river flow. The right answer will be decrease. Question 80. If glaciers feeding a river system melt rapidly, then initial river flow will increase, temporarily decrease, immediately remain unchanged, freeze year round. The right answer will be increase temporarily. Erosion, deposition and sediment transport category. Question number 81. If a river's velocity decreases suddenly, then sediment deposition will increase, decrease, remain unchanged, be washed away. Here the right answer will be increase, because more energy becomes less, so transport energy becomes less, and of course deposition will increase. Question number 82. If a river erodes its banks more on the outer banks than it is undergoing lateral migration, vertical migration, erosion, tectonic uplift, bedload transfer reduction, the right answer will be lateral migration. Means the erosion in the concave bank, then it will be lateral migration of the channel. Question 83. If a river has a high sediment load but low discharge, then sediment deposition will likely occur in the river mouth, the middle course, the source region, mountainous region. The river mouth will be the right answer. Question 84. If sediment transport capacity exceeds sediment supply, then channel incision will occur, sediment deposition will increase, river banks will widen, meandering will intensify. Here the right answer will be channel incision will occur due to more energy. For this reason, in the mountainous region, their channel incision is more occurred, because the energy are more than the transport required energy. Question 85. If a river flows over a floodplain during a flood event, then fine sediments will be deposited, be removed entirely, remain in suspension, form steep river banks. Here the right answer will be deposited. River dynamics and channel morphology category. Question number 86. If a river channel is composed of easily erodible materials, then the river will have high rates of lateral migration. The river will straighten over time. Bank erosion will be negligible. Bedload transport will cease. Here the right answer will be the river will have high rates of lateral migration. Question 87. If a meandering river is cut off due to rapid sediment deposition, then an oxbow lake may form. The river will become a braided stream. The channel will widen. The river will stop flowing. Here the right answer will be an oxbow lake may form. Question 88. If a river gradient increases suddenly due to tectonic uplift, then river incision will intensify, sediment transport will decrease, the river will become more meandering, water velocity will decrease. The answer will be river's incision will intensify. Question 89. If a river meander migrates too much towards an infrastructure, then engineers may need to stabilize the bank. The river will naturally stop moving, erosion rates will slow down, sediment supply will increase. Of course, engineers may need to stabilize the bank because the bank will be in the great risk. Question number 90. If the bedload in a river channel increases, then channel depth will likely decrease due to deposition, increase due to scouring, remain unchanged, become uniform across the river. Here the right answer will be decrease due to deposition. Human modifications and river engineering. If a dam is built across a river, then downstream sediment transport will decrease, increase, remain constant, double in magnitude, of course, decrease due to lack of sediment because all sediments are trapped upstream of the dam. If an artificial levee is breached, then the floodplain will experience sediment deposition, remain dry, stop receiving of floodwaters, erode instantly, of course experience sediment deposition. Question 93. If a city expands over a floodplain, then flood risk will likely increase due to reduced water infiltration, decrease due to better drainage, remain unchanged, be eliminated. The right answer will be, of course, increase due to reduced water infiltration, more will be the runoff. Question 94. If a riverbank stabilization measures like riprap are installed, then bank erosion will decrease, sediment deposition will increase, the river will deepen, flooding will intensify. The right answer will be the bank erosion will decrease. Question number 95. If a river is artificially straightened, then flow velocity will increase, decrease, remain stable, reverse direction. Here the right answer will be increase. Category climate change and ecological impacts. Question number 96. If glaciers supplying meltwater to a river shrink due to climate change, then summer river discharge will decrease, increase, permanently remain stable, cause extreme flooding, and the right answer will be decrease. Question number 97. If riparian forests are removed from river banks, then bank erosion will increase, decrease, stop completely, remain unaffected. Of course, increase. Question number 98. If wetlands near a river are drained, then flood attenuation capacity will decrease, increase, be unaffected, double in effectiveness. The right answer will be decrease. Question number 99. If precipitation patterns become more erratic, then river discharge variability will increase, decrease, remain constant, become negligible. The right answer will be increase. Question number 100. If sea level rise, then river deltas will be submerged or eroded, expand rapidly, stop sediment deposition, become dry and arid. The right answer will be submerged or eroded. Geomorphology, if then 150 MCQ questions, part 3, 101 to 150. This will be the last video of this if then geomorphology question series of geomorphology better to say fluvial geomorphology. Let's start from the first questions of the questions 101. If a river carries a high percentage of dissolved load, then it is classified as solution dominated river, bed load dominated river, suspended load dominated river, and braided river. Here the right answer will be solution dominated river because of the dissolved load is maximum than the other bed load and suspended load. Question 102. If a river changes from a braided to a meandering pattern, then its sediment load must have decreased, increased, remained constant, become coarser. Of course, it will be decreased. Question 103. If a river is overloaded with sediment, then channel aggradation will increase, decrease, remain stable, stop entirely. Here the right answer will be yes. Channel aggradation will be increased because more sediment. 104. If bed load transport in a river decreases, then sediment size in the river bed increase, decrease, stay constant, become fine and downstream. Here right answer will be increase. Means if bed load transport in a river decreases, then sediment size in the river bed here the right answer will be sediment size will be decreased. Means the finer sediment will be there in the bed. More the energy means more the transport, then sediment size will be more. Question 105. If a river's floodplain is widened by erosion, then flood storage capacity will increase, decrease, remain constant, be eliminated? Of course, it will be increase. Question 106. If a river reaches its base level, then its ability to erode downstream will decrease. Means MGH will be low, means gradient will be low, so downward erosion will be decreased. 107. If a river forms a delta at its mouth, then sediment supply to the coastal zone will increase. If a flood control dam releases excess water, then downstream flood risk will of course increase. Question 109. If urbanization increases in a watershed, then peak river discharge will increase. 110. If a river levee fails during a flood, then water will spread over the floodplain, floodwaters will decrease, sediment transport will stop, river discharge will stabilize, and the right answer will be water will spread over the floodplain. Question 111. If a river channel is artificially deepened, means channelization with deepening of the river, then flow velocity will of course increase. Question 112. The embankments are constructed along a river, then floodplains will become disconnected from river processes, expand naturally, experience more frequent flooding, develop more oxbow lakes. Here the right answer will be become disconnected from river processes. Question 113. If climate change causes more extreme weather events, then river discharge variability will increase. Question 114. If a river loses its connection with wetlands, then aquatic biodiversity will decrease. Question 115. If river velocity increases beyond the sediment entrainment threshold, then sediment transport will increase, because more than entrainment threshold means transport threshold, then of course sediment transport will be increased. Question 116. If a river bed is composed of coarse sediments, then sediment transport will primarily occur as bed load. Question 117. If a river's discharge increases suddenly due to heavy rainfall, then sediment deposition in the channel will decrease, means most of the sediment will be transported. Question 118. If a river carries a high proportion of fine sediments, then it is classified as suspended load dominated river, and you can say as dissolved load dominated river also. Question 119. If a meandering river's outer bank erodes while the inner bank deposits sediment, then the river is undergoing lateral migration, vertical erosion, aggradation, superimposition. If a meandering river's outer bank erodes while the inner bank deposits sediment, then the river is undergoing lateral migration. Means outer bank means concave bank and inner bank means convex bank. Question 120. If a river incises into its floodplain due to increased sediment transport, then its floodplain will narrow. Question 121. If a river is dominated by frequent high discharge events, then it is likely to develop braided channel, meandering channel, anastomosing deltaic channel. It will be braided channel. Means frequent high discharge event inputs lots of sediment in the channel, so braided river. Question 122. If an oxbow lake forms, then it indicates that the river has undergone a meander cutoff. Question 123. If a river's natural floodplain is converted into urban land, then peak flood levels will increase due to more runoff and less infiltration of the urban cemented surface. Question 124. If riverbanks are stabilized using riprap, rock armor, then erosion will of course decrease at the protected section where the riprap is installed. Question 125. If a levee is breached during a major flood event, then floodwaters will spread over the floodplain. It is very natural. Question 125. If wetlands along a river are destroyed, then flood attenuation capacity of course will decrease due to destruction of the wetlands in the floodplain area. Question 127. If a river's bed is composed of resistant rock, then erosion will slow down due to resistance of the rocks and the energy will be lost at the resistance of the rocks. Question 128. If a river reaches a flatter gradient, then its ability to transport sediment will decrease due to less mgh, means less potential energy. Question 129. If a river suspended load is greater than its bed load, then the river is likely a meandering river. At meandering river, there is more suspended load. Question 130. If a river's discharge fluctuates seasonally, then sediment deposition patterns will change accordingly to the discharge. Question 131. If a river meander becomes too extreme, then a cutoff will result in an oxbow lake. Question 132. If a river curves downward at a faster rate than lateral erosion, then it forms a gorge or canyon. Means more the downward erosion or incision than the lateral erosion, that can create a gorge or canyon. But if there is more lateral erosion, then it will be meandering river or a floodplain. And if braided river, if channel gradient is decreases suddenly and channel sediment load is more, then it will be braided channel. Question 133. If a floodplain is frequently flooded, then soil fertility will be increased. For that reason, most of the river's floodplain area is very much fertile. Question 134. If a river carries coarse sediments, then its dominant process is traction and saltation, which works at the bottom of the river or the river bed. Question 135. If a river slows down at its mouth, then deposition will result in delta formation. Question 136. If a dam is removed from a river, then downstream sediment transport will increase. Question 137. If deforestation occurs in a river's watershed, then sediment load will increase. More the deforestation, more will be soil erosion due to rainfall activities and runoff. Question 138. If artificial levees are built along a river, the natural floodplain connectivity will decrease. Question 139. If floodplains are converted into agricultural land, then flood risk will increase. Question 140. If a river is confined within embankments, then its flood energy will increase downstream. Question 141. If a river experiences increased sedimentation due to human activity, then its channel depth will of course decrease. More the sedimentation, more will be the deposition, and channel depth will decrease, means depth of water. If a river's base level is lowered due to tectonic activity, then the river will likely to incise into its valley due to energy. More energy will be generated after the tectonic uplift, and more the energy, more will be the incision capacity. On 143, if a river experiences high sediment deposition along its banks, then its channel will widen, narrow, remain unchanged, and become steeper. Of course, it will be narrow because its banks will be deposited. Question 144. If a river downcuts into its floodplain due to increased stream power, then terraces will form along valley sides. River terraces due to increased stream power means more MGH. Question 145. If a river valley is widened by lateral erosion, then the floodplain will expand. Question 146. If levees are built along a river, the natural floodplain inundation will decrease. And for that reason, levees are prepared. If a river confined between artificial embankments, then sediment deposition will increase downstream. Question 148. If sea levels rise, then low-lying river deltas will experience increased flooding. If wetlands along a river are removed, then flood risk will increase. If river flow variability increases due to changing climatic pattern, then the stability of the ecosystem will decrease. Thanks for watching till the end. Thank you so much. Please like this video, share among your friends, and of course comment me if you have any queries or suggestions for me, and please subscribe this channel to get new notification of each and every videos from my channel, and I'll sure that this type of videos will be very much helpful for you. Thank you so much.